Hi there, I'm Amanda Castor with Material Girl Quilts, and one of my favorite quilting elements is the flying geese block. Today I'm going to share with you my favorite method for making those that includes two bonuses. One, you make four flying geese at the same time, and two, it's the no waste method so you don't waste any fabric making these flying geese blocks. The quilt behind me is my Heading South pattern, which is one of my most popular patterns in my shop, and it's actually been around for a few years. It's one of the first patterns I designed, and it's still for sale on my website, and for the entire month of November 2022 it's going to be 25% off so that you can purchase this pattern if you'd like to make a Heading South quilt of your own. Now, the other important thing is a chart that I've created that includes the cutting and piecing instructions for the no waste method to making flying geese. And you can download this for free through the link in the video description below, and the link is also available on my website, materialgirlquilts.com. So let's get started. Now, to make the flying geese blocks, what you need to know is that for each set of four flying geese that you will make, you will cut one large square according to the chart, depending on the finished size blocks that you're needing, and that large square represents the goose fabric. So in other words, this triangle. And then you will also cut four smaller squares of the sky or background fabric. Now, the first step in this method is that you will lay two of your sky or background fabric squares right sides together on opposing corners of your large square, like this. And then you will draw a line across the diagonal. And then you're going to sew a scant 1/4 inch on either side of that line. Now, when I'm making these larger flying geese like this one here, which will finish at 4 inches by 8 inches, I like to pin my squares on here before I take it to my machine so that they don't shift around. So we'll go ahead and sew on either side of that line. Now, once you have sewn on either side of your drawn line, you're going to cut directly on that line that you drew. And that will give you two pieces like this that you will then press towards the sky or background fabric. So now they kind of look like a heart shape. Okay, the next thing you're going to do is take one of your additional smaller squares with the sky or background fabric and lay it on the last corner of one of these pieces. And again, you will draw a diagonal line from corner to corner, and then you will sew a scant 1/4 inch on either side of that line. And when I say a scant 1/4 inch, that means just inside of a 1/4 inch seam. So I'll do that now. And once that's done, again, you're going to cut directly on the line that you drew here. And once you've cut those, you press again towards this background or sky fabric. Now you just repeat that process on this last little heart-shaped unit that you have to create the last two flying geese blocks, and once they're all pressed open, you'll have 4 flying geese blocks. Now, there are rulers that are out there. I know there's a block lock flying geese ruler that you can use to square up your blocks, but honestly, when I use this method, and I'm very careful with my seam allowance, all I ever need to do is just clip off these little dog ears on the sides. So when I put this on I always double check though and make sure that this is truly 4.5 inches by 8.5 inches when I check it on my cutting mat. And if it is the appropriate size, then all I do is just go through and clip off all the dog ears, and these flying geese are squared up and ready to go. Again, this is my favorite method to make flying geese because 1, you get to make 4 geese at a time, and 2, you don't waste any fabric. I hope this tutorial was helpful for you, and again, if you'd like to purchase the Heading South pattern, it's available for 25% off for the month of November 2022, and you can also be sure to download the cutting chart that includes all of the size of fabric that you need to cut to make multiple sizes of flying geese, and also it includes the piecing instructions that shows you how to make these blocks. I hope you enjoyed this video and it was helpful for you. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time.